What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I've got some more entitled parent stories for you, so sit back, relax, and let's get straight into them. How to scare an entitled person. If you've read my other stories, you know that I am an old woman who ran out of poops a long time ago. I'm sarcastic and I'm not a stranger to foul language. 14-year Navy vet, so I cuss like a sailor. So on to the story. After a couple of weeks of not leaving my house and needing some groceries, I threw on an old baseball cap, I hadn't fixed my hair for a while, and ventured to my closest Costco. I donned my gloves and mask and sallied forth. Being early, the line to enter was short and I was able to get in, grab the stuff I needed, and get in line to check out. However, the line to check out was not short. The store had established two lines approaching the checkout tills. An employee would direct you to the next till open when you reach the front of the store. The end of the lines, however, stretched back to the back of the store. I got in line and everyone was being very nice in keeping the prescribed distance apart, and we were behaving in a civil manner. We chatted with each other and talked about the quarantine. But of course, there is always that one person who just has to try to display dominance by annoying everyone else. This one person in this case was a Karen. There were only about 3 people in front of me before reaching the front, where an employee would direct us to a cashier. Karen came along, looked back towards the beginning of the line, sighed dramatically, and pushed her giant Costco cart in front of the woman before me, making her next in line. The lady in front of me pointed out to her that the line started at the back of the store, but Karen ignored her completely. A couple of others in line also called out to her that the line was back there. Karen ignored them. Finally, the employee directing traffic came over and told her that she would have to move to the back of the line. Karen then finally spoke. "I spend a lot of money here, like we all spend a lot of money at Costco. And I'm in a hurry. What's one more in front of them anyway? They've already waited this long. Can't they wait a few minutes more?" I watched this go down, and soon the employee was arguing with her, and I decided that it was time to let my crazy flag fly. I'm no shrinking violet, and I don't embarrass easily, so I thought, why not? I walked up next to the lady and just stared at her. I didn't say anything until she looked at me and said, "Step back, you're too close." I looked at her and loudly said, "Do you like my shoes?" Karen, bless her heart, looked a little shocked. Before she could say anything, I struck again. "I like my shoes. Do you like my shoes?" I then did what my sons tell me is my creepy laugh. Bwahahaha. Karen's eyes got a little wide and I heard some snickers from some others in the line. I then said, "Can I go home with you and look at your shoes?" At this, the employee once again said, "Mom, please go to the back of the line." Well, crazy won the day and the Karen left the line without saying a word to me and headed towards the back of the line. By now, some of the others were laughing and some looked genuinely worried about the crazy lady in line with them. I just went back to my car and said, "Well, sometimes you just have to fight idiots with crazy." Everyone then seemed to relax, and a couple of us chatted for the few minutes it took for us to reach the front of the line. I will admit that most of the people who were in line with me and heard the altercation were looking at me a little funny, but hey, it's not like they could recognize me because of the ball cap and mask. Jeez, I love freaking people out. Being old has its perks. So guys, there you have it. If you do ever come across an entitled person in the wild and you're not exactly sure what to do, like OP right here, I guess it's pretty simple. Just act as crazily as you can. Try and out crazy the crazy, if that makes sense, and hopefully that will work. It sure did in this story. To be fair to you, OP, I don't know if I could have done what you did in this story. It must have been quite embarrassing, but anyway, I hope to be as fun as you when I grow up. Now moving on to our second story, an entitled parent told me to turn off my in-flight movie because of the gay kissing. I was on a 14-hour flight that was only half full. There were storms recently prior to takeoff, so almost all connecting flights to arrive at that airport were late. This meant I had a whole 3-seat row to myself since those flyers didn't make it. Almost every row was like this. Into the flights, I'd finished my third movie. It's impossible for me to sleep on planes, so I continued looking through the movie list until I saw Rocket Man. I've never seen it, but heard good things about it. Towards halfway through the film, the song Take Me to the Pilot came on and a gay sex scene with Elton John and John Reed started playing. I was a little surprised, but I didn't skip since the cabin was dark and everyone else was watching their own screen or sleeping, so I thought, I felt someone poke my shoulder from behind. It was a middle-aged woman.
You need to stop what you're watching. That's extremely inappropriate for my kid.
I glanced at her boy, who was probably about 12, in the middle seat, and he was sleeping. The kid even had a sleeping eye mask on, so how the heck could he see my movie anyway? This part will be over soon. There's been no nudity in it. I turned around. I could hear her scoff loudly. I'm assuming she pressed the help button since a flight attendant came over 10 seconds later. By the time the flight attendant came to our section, the steamy scene was finished anyway. And no, there was no nudity, just steamy kissing and pectorals. The flight attendant said, "May I help you?"
This person is watching gay porn. My kid can see that and doesn't need to know about those relationships.
She's watching a movie provided on the list. There's nothing I can do except advise you to watch your own screen.
It's not a family appropriate movie on a plane. She needs to change the movie or turn it off.
I apologize, but she has the right to watch what she wants to watch. If there are further complaints in the future, we could take action. The flight attendant walked to the back of the plane. I heard the entitled mum say ridiculous under her breath. I was super tempted to rewind back to Elton's one night stand. Of course you were, but I didn't need that BS at the moment. Later, I turn around at her during Elton's drug/alcohol overdose at his pool party, and her eyes were fixated on my screen. She must have enjoyed the movie. Yeah, literally, lady, if you're enjoying the movie so much, why not just put it on your own screen? Surely you'll get a better angle on your own screen than having to watch through some other seats, right? In all seriousness though, it is a little embarrassing, well, it's very embarrassing, let's just say that this entitled mum covers up her own homophobia by saying, "Oh no, my kid doesn't want to see that." Like, we can all see in the story, your kid's asleep and wearing an eye mask. Just, if you're going to be homophobic, just own it at least. I mean, that's the least you can do when you're doing something so disgusting like this. I also think that the logic of someone like this, when they say, "Oh, if my son watches some gay things happening, that's going to turn him gay," like, that's just not a thing. I don't understand why people have that sort of reasoning in their head. What is that? Now guys, before we move on to our final story, I firstly want to tell you about an awesome company I'm now working with, Pasta Evangelists. Pretty much, if you want restaurant quality food delivered to your door the next day, this is the site for you. As you can see, you go and order online, very simple. It comes to your door the next day, just in a nice package like this, and you literally cook it in about 5 minutes. It's restaurant quality, super fresh, and it's delicious. I mean, look at this happy customer right here. He's loving his food. Now guys, unfortunately, this is only available in the UK, but for my UK viewers, I do have a nice little 20% discount when you use the code Redditor at checkout. Pretty much guys, this is a really easy option to get some amazing quality food during lockdown. You don't even need to go outside. So if you are interested, the link is in the pinned comment and in the description as always. Anyway, with that being said, let's move on to our final story of today's video. Insane mum feeds her kid a stranger's food, yells abuse, and calls us child abusers when she gets more than she bargained for. This happened a little more than an hour ago. Oh, I do love new, juicy, fresh entitled parent stories. The entitled mum is my flatmate's sister. She stopped by to pick up some things their parents had left here and brought her 5-year-old with her. There was fried chicken resting on the countertop that I was preparing for lunch, and without thinking or asking anyone if she could have any, she took a piece and fed it to her child. Now this was a huge freaking mistake, because I'm a pepperhead, and this batch of fried chicken was designed to be a struggle for me. The marinade had ghost pepper sauce in it, the flour and breadcrumbs were loaded with cayenne pepper and chill powder, and the oil sauce was made with more of the ghost pepper sauce. Absolute freaking madness. I'm upstairs trying to avoid the entitled mum. She'd be unpleasant company even when even when she's in a coma, she'd be unpleasant company. I mean, fair enough. When I hear all heck break loose down below, the kid in absolute agony crying at the top of her lungs and the entitled mum screaming her head off. I pop down to see what the heck is going on. My flatmate is trying to relieve the kid with ice cubes and milk, while the entitled mum is letting loose about how we hurt her baby. I asked what happened. The entitled mum says the kid climbed up and got the chicken, and then she starts berating us about how dangerous it was to leave spicy food around small kids. The flatmate calls her BS and says there is no way the kid got up there. The chicken was all the way at the back. After denying it, she eventually slips and says something like, "How was I supposed to know?" We press her on why she thought she could just go and take food that didn't belong to her and give it to her kid. She's got no idea what's in it, etc., and she starts into some hysteric crying / screaming routine, calling my flatmate irresponsible, accusing us of child abuse. We've ruined her day when she just wanted to see her brother. People are going to think she hits her kid. It wouldn't surprise me if she did. She was doing us a favor picking up the stuff her parents left. She wasn't, it was her old stuff. And then she proceeds to throw the box against the wall. By this point, she's so out of control, she's actually got snot coming out of her nose. She takes the ice and milk off the kid, who is still in complete agony, and storms off to the car, dragging the poor kid along with her. It was an interesting afternoon. 5 out of 7 chicken though. Now guys, I don't mind spicy food myself, but a ghost pepper, I've never been anywhere near that sort of level of spice, that sort of level of Scoville units. So I can only imagine what sort of effect it had on a 7-year-old that didn't know what was coming. I mean, seriously, this is, as I always say, karma, it's a thing, right? And in this situation, it's just justice. You can't steal people's food. I'm just annoyed that the entitled mum gave it to their kid rather than ate it themselves and had the effect of the spice on themselves. That's the only thing that could have been better. But apart from that, yeah, pretty great story. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this episode of Entitled Parents. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like, and there's more on the screen right now for you to enjoy. Also, subscribe. Also, a massive thank you to Pastor Evangelist for giving us the opportunity to have some restaurant quality food despite being in lockdown for a great price. Guys, as I said already, the link is in the description and the pinned comment. Go and check it out.